What's up guys, Andreas here. In this video I'm going to talk about my injuries that I've had in the past, how they happened, how long they took to heal, how much they hurt, and the problems I'm having today with them. Something along that line. So 18 years ago I hurt my ring finger. You can see here, got a bit of a scar. If I turn around you can see there as well. Looks quite kind of odd for a ring finger, and the nail looks also really weird, but I have a finger. I'm happy with that. So this injury, like I said, 18 years ago, I was driving a motocross and I slipped on a stone, ran full gas into a tree. As I hit the tree, I jumped off, but my last finger to release from the handle was my ring finger. So the tree caught the front brake, which made my finger get peeled off from the bone, and I landed on the ground with my goggles fogged up so I couldn't see anything. I felt something was wrong, so I lifted up my hand and looked at it through the fog lens, and I could see my finger hanging in the flesh and in the glove, like dingling under there. And that's when I started screaming and crying. Immediately from there we went to the hospital and they stitched the finger back onto the bone, and that's it, how it looks today. And I'm not quite sure how long it took for the finger to heal. The only thing that was so shit during the healing period is that when the finger was healing and I had the bandage around it, the blood and the skin would like start healing into the bandage. So whenever I went to the doctor to change the bandage, it would be stuck to the finger. So they had to slowly peel it off, and that hurts. Anyhow, today I have full mobility in my finger, which is really nice. It's a little bit shorter. If you look here, it's a little bit shorter. I still have the nail and full mobility. Some of the problems I'm having today with this finger is that it's a lot colder than the rest of the finger. So this area of the hand gets much colder. So I usually put it like this. I'm gonna have to blow to keep it warm, especially during the winters, which sucks quite bad. But like I said, I have the finger, it's working, I'm good. And the second thing is that you see these scars. Focus. Like here, and also on top of the finger. They have a problem healing, so every time when I get dry during the winter or whenever I'm working a lot with my hands and washing them, they crack up and start bleeding, which sucks. And another one is that this scar is quite hard. So, and also the sensation when you touch it goes straight into the finger, to the bone, it feels like. So it hurts quite bad if I were to hit a sharp edge with the scar. And then we have in my mid-teens, I broke my rib, one of the ribs. I was snowboarding and I hit a jump and I came up short, landed on my side. And I didn't realize it then and there, but I knew something was wrong and I never went to the hospital with it. But now I feel that one of the ribs is poking out more than the rest. Which isn't really an issue, but some of the problems I have with that one is that when I lay on my stomach, it feels odd because one of the bones is poking out, like I said, slightly more. Let's take this outside. And then we have my right arm. All right, so I was snowboarding with a couple of friends and we had a early season session when you hike up a small hill and you go down and you do some tricks on rails and boxes. So this particular time I was doing a backside 180 on top of a box that was quite far off the ground. So I missed the heels, so I slipped out and landed on the side or back with my arm behind me on the box, which broke it. Or not immediately, it didn't break. So right then and there I had pain and the arm swelled up, but I could still move it and it was fine. So it took actually a week or two for me to actually break the arm. The days after I had fell on it, I was on the gymnastics doing flips and doing workouts and all that. So I felt something was wrong, but it wasn't that bad. And then a week and a half later, I was playing CS on my computer and I moved my right wrist or hand to the left quick, like that, and then I heard a snap. And then I was like, oh shit, what happened? Because I heard a snap and something felt weird right away. So I went down to my parents and I told them like, oh guys, I think I broke my arm. Well, of course they were shocked, but anyhow we went to the doctor I had to wait there for 9 hours trying to explain to the doctors that my arm is broken, so I wiggle it like that. Look guys, it's broken because you can see the bone is poking out when I do this. And they still told me that no, it's not broken. But eventually they found out it's broken and I had surgery. You can probably see the scar here a little bit. And I have this plate, I can feel it from here to here. And I think I have 7 or 9 screws that's holding the plate. And the problems I'm having today with this arm is that the plate is actually sticking out more than the rest of the arm, the bone in the arm. So when I'm working at a desk, for example, and I'm typing or writing, the plate is connecting with the table, which it shouldn't be because my other arm, then it's a bit of a space in between. So when I'm using this arm, the plate is interacting with the table and it feels really weird. It's actually quite painful after a while. And if I were to hit something or something were to hit me right on the plate, then it's quite painful and it can last up to 2 weeks after that. So for example, this winter I had a dog jump when I was lifting it and the knee of the dog hit my forearm like that. And it took about, I think 2 weeks for it to be good again. So I could barely sleep with it. I had to keep my arm in the air like this because I couldn't support anything on the arm. The skin felt really weird, like painful. Even laying down, my arm on the pillow hurt a lot. So I had to keep it in the air in order for it to, heal. All right, and now to one of my worst injuries and longest injuries in my life, and that's my left shoulder. I have dislocated it, and I also dislocated my right shoulder, but I'm gonna begin with the left one. So what happened is that I was 17, I was snowboarding again with a few friends, and we were at his backyard. He had built a small park there with rails and all that. And I was practicing a trick and I had done so for many hours. And then one time I slipped out and I tried to catch my fall with my left arm, but it ended up behind me, dislocating my shoulder. So I could feel right away that something was really weird. It felt painful and odd, like it feels really weird. And then we drove to the hospital, and after 1 hour, 2 hours, I had relocated the arm or the shoulder again back in place. Now, the healing period for something like this is really weird because if you break a bone in your body, it's gonna take about 6 weeks for it to heal, and then the part is gonna be stronger than before, that heal up. It might heal a little bit weird or off, and you're gonna get some issues from that. But other than that, the bone has healed and you're good. With a joint, if you destroy the joint, then it can't really heal because the soft parts get pushed away from the joint itself. So of course you can work it out, you can strengthen the shoulder and all the muscles around, but it's still gonna be a weakened part of the body. So it took me from 17 years old to about, I think 23 when I had surgery on my left shoulder. That's a lot of years, 6 years. And I didn't want to get surgery right away because I was 17 and I wanted to have a career with snowboarding. So I thought that giving up a whole season to do surgery wasn't worth it. So I just tried to work out and keep it strong, but it didn't work. So I think this left shoulder has dislocated over 200 times easily. So the first time I dislocated it and it jumped out and stayed there, and we had to pull it back at the hospital. But the other 200 times it actually jumped out and jumped back in the matter of a few seconds. But it still hurts a lot and you feel really weak because you can't trust your body. So it could be anywhere, like I'm stretching in the morning, do that and it pops out and you're in pain and then it jumps back. And then the next thing you're gonna tie your shoes, so you bend over to reach for the shoelaces, and it jumps out again and jumps back in, and still that hurts. And then snowboarding, you try to do a trick, you throw your body into the direction that you wanna spin, and then as you do that in the air, the shoulder dislocates. It was 6 years when I didn't trust my body, so to speak. Hey, hello, come down. And when I finally had surgery, it still took a really long time for me to trust the shoulder, and still I don't trust it. I just have adapted so that I know what I can and can't do. So for example, when I'm working out or when I'm climbing, I don't hang in the shoulders. I always keep my scapula down, so to keep the all the muscles engaged, holding the shoulder in its socket. And also when I'm jumping, let's say I jump from a cliff in the water, I never go like, woo! I always go like this, or like really, I don't keep my arms out here when I'm in the air. So I keep them really close, tucked in. Especially when I fall, I try to keep my arms tucked into my body from preventing it to dislocate again. So yeah, the problems I'm having today with the shoulder, like I said, I don't trust it, or well, I do trust it, but it's still not a original shoulder. And also have limited range of motion above head. And from the side, you can see that the left shoulder goes this far back, and the right shoulder goes all the way back there. So it's the last range of motion that they blocked during surgery to prevent it from dislocating again. All right. And then a year later, I dislocated my right shoulder, but we're gonna get to that because in between this period, I tore my right knee ACL. So I was skateboarding in a vert ramp, which I had done I was learning, I was getting good at it. And then one time, after doing a backside air, I landed, and right in the bottom of the ramp, something told me to jump off. So I jumped off and I didn't hit the smooth landing, and I landed straight to the flat bottom with my knee, and it twisted in the landing. So I felt right away that something was wrong, and I had to jump on one leg out of the ramp because I couldn't support my weight on the other leg. The pain, it was quite bad, not that bad. I mean, I never went to the hospital because I stopped going to the hospitals by then. The healing period, I don't even remember because, like I said, I never went to the hospital, so I never had like a clear mark. Oh, you're injured now, you're gonna do this and that, and then you're fine. So I just kind of went with it, and I did my own rehabs, looked up information online, and then I was good to go again. And the problems I'm having today with this knee, obviously, is that it's more unstable than the left knee that's still intact. The ACL's function is that so if this is your thigh and this is the lower leg, and in between here is the kneecap, and your leg goes like that, the ACL keeps the bottom leg to moving like this. So it keeps it stable so that when you move your leg, it stays in place, but not my leg moves like this. And what comes with that is instability, and especially when working out. And also in between here, somewhere around here, I got runner's, or you could say jumper's knee in both knees. And what that is if you're too active, you're doing too many things, you're constantly putting pressure and using your legs and never let them rest, you're gonna get a irritated knee. So what happens is that the kneecap doesn't move as smoothly in the socket because all the jumps and running you put your knee to handle can't handle it. So you get a lot of pain in the knees. So this is also something that I've had for a really long time. Even up till today, I'm 28, and I'm working quite hard to prevent my knees from getting any worse. So I try to moderately work out and not do as crazy things like I did before. So I try to stay more safe. What is what I'm trying to say, more calm. And then we have 1 year later, after my left shoulder dislocated, I had my right shoulder dislocate. So what happened here is that I was skateboarding. It's all skateboarding and snowboarding injuries. I was skateboarding with a friend, and I was practicing a trick, and I did so many times, too many times actually, I think. And I got a bit tired and wasn't really clear in my mind, and I fell, slipped out, caught my arm on top of the ramp that was skating as my body went down the ramp, so it threw my arm behind my back and dislocated it. Shit. Second shoulder, 1 year later. And this one was worse, actually. It dislocated quite bad. So the pain was really bad. Same as the left shoulder, because it hurts a lot and it feels really weird. The healing period as well with this right shoulder from the age of 18 until maybe the age of 24 when I actually had surgery on it. So that's 6 years. Same thing here, where it was actually quite good for a few years. And at the same time I had my left shoulder dislocating, 5 times a week. So I thought that, my right shoulder is my safe shoulder, it's all right. But I was very, very wrong. I dislocated it again a few years later, and it actually almost took my life. I almost drowned. And yeah, I survived. Whew. So what I'm trying to say with this is that I thought my right arm was good, but it wasn't. And after that, it actually was all right for a year, and then it started dislocating, completely dislocating, not jumping out and back in again. It would stay out. And the first 4 times I would go to the hospital and they would pull it back. But then eventually I just learned myself how to pull my shoulder back in place, which was a really good knowledge to have, because you can be in really shitty situations with your shoulders dislocated, and you don't want to be that. Talking about this makes me shiver. Anyhow, I had surgery on my right shoulder a year after I had surgery on my left shoulder, I think. And same here, it took a really long time for me to trust my shoulder. I still don't, but I feel much safer now than before the surgery. And the problems I'm having today with this right shoulder is a bit worse, because the socket of the shoulder was a bit more damaged than the left one. So the surgery was more complicated. So this one, they just sewed back the ligaments, or whatever you say, and move the muscle. And this one, they had to cut a bone with the biceps tendon or muscle and move it down lower and attach it to the shoulder, so that my socket is a bit more deep, or it's a bigger socket. But what happens then is that the problems I'm having today is my internal rotation, like behind the body, is a lot worse. And I get impingement because my shoulder bumps into this bony part that's supposed to keep my shoulder in place. And you can imagine that hurts. So whenever I'm doing, let's say, holding something like this, or moving my hand behind my back when I put a backpack on or a jacket, anything like that, and it hurts quite bad, especially when working out. So if I do dips or push-ups or anything like that, it's gonna hurt quite a lot. And now to my most recent injury is my right collarbone, which I broke in 3 parts. It happened last September. So I was skateboarding and I fell in a really bad way, so I landed straight to my shoulder. And when it happened, I thought that shit, I just dislocated my shoulder again. That had just, learned to trust again. But then I felt the shoulder as I laid on the ground. I was like, all right, it's fine. But then I lift my shirt and look down, and I see the bone poking out almost through the skin. I was like, oh shit, oh shit. I'm also gonna make its own video from this one because it's quite funny. Anyhow, broke it, went to the hospital. They were like, oh, you don't need surgery, you sit it out. And so the pain was really bad. First week was really bad, especially the first days. It was so bad. And the healing period, it was in one way quite fast, but still really long, because I could stay on the bicycle in the gym on like day 5, bicycling really slow, just to get the legs moving. But it would take pretty much 6 weeks, like on the day, 6 weeks, and I felt like, oh shit, it's actually healed up. But then, of course, it's not completely healed up, it's just attached, so you have to be really careful with your movements. You still gotta use your arm, but no weights. And that also took some time, so I think from September, I was snowboarding in November, but really carefully, and then getting more safe with it in December. And then around Christmas, I was pretty much fine again. But the issues I'm having today with this broken collarbone is that it clicks. So let's say you have a normal collarbone like this, and you have all this space in between here for your nerves, and then you have, I guess, the scapula or the shoulder or whatever it is under there. You're supposed to have a little bit of space. What happens when you break it is that it ends up like this, and now you have no space underneath anymore. So whenever I move my shoulder, it goes like and it's so annoying because, working out is a hassle, because you hear the sound. Even if you have really loud music in your ears, you can still hear the sound because it's your bone, so it kind of connects or sends a signal up to the brain. You can hear it even though you can't hear it. And that's one thing with the sound and just, I don't know, feeling weird about it. The other problem is that, like I said, it's poking out. So whenever I have a shirt on and it rubs against the skin, it also feels weird. I'm getting more used to it now. And then also the combination with my right shoulder being my bad shoulder from the shoulder surgery, and then the broken collarbone on top of that. So the combination of these two injuries make regular things that was just enjoyable before, makes them quite hard or annoying now. Example, a push-up, which was only like, it was good before, and now it's just like, I really want to do push-ups, but it feels so weird because you have all these things that are wrong in your shoulder. So it's not anymore just that it's hard and you feel good. Now it's pain on every rep, but you still want to do it because you want to stay healthy, you want to stay fit. So I'm just gonna have to, or I have just learned to live with it. Of course, it's not that bad. I still have my body. It's working. I should be happy. I am happy. So those are some of my injuries. I'm gonna make separate videos on some of the stories behind these injuries because a few of them, it needs a longer video to explain like the whole journey of it. But it was a little quick one, and now to answer your questions that you sent me on Instagram. So I'm just gonna answer the questions that were related to this video. A whole bunch of you sent questions that weren't related to my injuries. So Salty Taff asks, which was the worst overall experience? My shoulders, definitely, because they have been really, like I said, I'm gonna explain this in another video. Jordan Stern, oh my God, all that happened. How are you still alive, man? You know, I'm still alive and I'm functioning. I'm really happy that I can still use my body the way I do. There are a lot of people who are worse off than I am, so I'm really happy that I am me and I still have my body. What was the most painful among them? And it totally depends. Some were more painful right then and there, but some have lasted over 6 years of pain. So it's kind of hard to answer that one. But still, my shoulders, my dislocated shoulders have been my worst issue my whole life. So I would say the shoulders again. I'd like to know, how are you still able to snowboard after all these injuries? Well, I try to stay healthy. I try to stay fit with working out. And also, the most important part is that you have to realize that you can't push the limits to the max all the time. You have to step back and just enjoy snowboarding and not, push the limits that hard. I have a broken collarbone too. And how long did it take for it to heal? So a broken collarbone was a really weird experience for me because it felt like it was never getting better. From day one and until 6 weeks, it felt like it was getting worse. But then a day suddenly, after 6 weeks, magically, it felt good. The bone had attached back to the other part that was broken and it felt a lot better. So 6 weeks. Don't do too much. They give you all these rehab exercises. Be really careful with them. Listen to your body. Don't put any weight on the shoulder during this period and just listen to your body. If it hurts, don't do anything and wait 6 weeks. What did you do to recover from runner's knee? I have it and I can't wait to run again. So like you probably saw in this video right now, is that I haven't healed from it. I managed to make it better over the years because I've had it for about 8 years. And there have been periods when I had to crawl backwards downstairs because I couldn't walk downstairs. It would hurt so bad. And sometimes when I could not run or jump because also the pain was so bad. What I learned in my case is that I did too much. I snowboard, I work with dog sledding, very physical. I went to the gym and I swam and I did all these things. I stretched, I exercised, I did all these things too much. You still have to keep training, but you need to step back. Don't do it too much. So let's say you want to go run now and you probably can run a mile, but maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should only run 1/10 of a mile, and then the next day or the next after 3 days you go a little bit further and then a little bit further. And you don't, when you work out, let's say do squats, don't go too heavy because you can do it, but maybe you're not supposed to do it. If you have knee pain, make sure to warm up, and then don't go too hard on the exercise. But you still have to exercise. You just don't have to go too hard. Let your legs rest. Do a lot of, warm-ups with the... Make sure to warm up. That's what I'm saying. Worst injury and also most embarrassing injury. The most embarrassing injury. I don't think anything is embarrassing. I guess that would be something that I haven't been talking about. Maybe if you jump on a snowboard and you fall on your butt and it feels like you're gonna shit your pants. That's that's a bit embarrassing when you feel like you have shit running down your legs, but it's actually just a really odd feeling that you get when you smash your ass into the ground. Do you wake up with pain every morning? How do these injuries affect your day-to-day life? Every day I wake up with a bit of knee pain, but that's all right. But there have been some periods of my life, like I said, I wake up and I'm in a lot of pain, especially if my shoulder dislocated in the middle of the night. I would feel really weak in my body, in my shoulder, because I had dislocated that night. Do you sound when you're at a metal detector at the airport? I don't think so. I don't have that much metal. I have a few screws here and I have this plate here. I don't think I have anything else. How does post-op rehab look for your knees? I have never had surgery on my knees. I'm trying to stay away from the knife as long as I can until I'm really forced to do something about it if working out and staying healthy doesn't work. So that was a few of your questions, and I think I've been staying out here for over an hour just talking about this. I'm gonna see how this edits, trying to make it into a 10-minute video. We'll see about that. I hope I'm not sure if you learned anything from this, but I hope you did. And I'm gonna make some more videos about these injuries, or some of them especially, that are gonna be more educational maybe. Yeah, I think so. So anyhow, thanks for watching if you're still here. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go inside now because the sun is getting low and it's getting a bit cold actually, so it's time to leave. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it, this is what I'm trying to say. Hit the like button, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.